Yes, I welcome you to this lesson, dear learners. This is Vocational Skills for Grade 5, Cleanliness of the Garments. This is caring for the garments and maintaining cleanliness. As we discussed this last time, we started talking about stitches, of which last lesson we learned about what is known as the tacking stitch and its use. We also saw how to make a tacking stitch. Now, we said last time that stitches are grouped into four major categories. Stitches are grouped into four major categories. These ones are the groups of stitches. We say, one, we have what is known as the tacking stitch. Two, we said we have joining stitches. Next, joining stitches include, one, the running stitch. This we saw last time, the difference between the running stitch and the tacking stitch, where the tacking stitch has longer running threads and the running stitch is a permanent stitch that has smaller running threads. Good. The second example of the running stitch, of the joining stitches, we have what is known as the backstitch. Then we have one which is known as overcasting or oversewing. Oversewing stitch. These are the examples of the joining stitches that we have. So the joining stitches, we have three major stitches: the running stitch, we have the back stitch, and the overcasting stitch. The third group of stitches, we have decorating stitches. Decorating stitches, where we have one example of the decorating stitches. We have the stem stitch, right? We have the chain stitch, and we also have what is known as fagoting. Fagoting stitch. We have the cross stitch, right? Then we have the herringbone. The herringbone stitch. Good. Then the last group is the fourth group of stitches, where we have the hemming stitch. Hemming stitch. So, when we talk about the groups of stitches, we have four groups of stitches. Tacking stitch, we have the second group, which is the joining stitches, where we have the running stitch, the back stitch, and the overcasting or oversewing stitch. Decorative stitches, we have the stem stitch, we have the chain stitch, fagoting stitch, cross stitch, and herringbone stitch. Then the last group is known as the hemming stitch. Now, last time we talked about the tacking stitch, and we also did a little on the running stitch. Now today, I want to take a case study of the back stitch. The back stitch, right? And we are going to see how we can make a back stitch, or how we can work a back stitch. Back stitch is worked on the wrong side of the garment. Backstitch is worked on the wrong side of the garment. And how do we work it out? We bring the needle from the wrong side or from the back of the garment, and it comes at the top, that is on the surface, right? And then you do your sewing. But how do you do your sewing when you're working on the backstitch? This is point number 1, this is point number 2, and this is point number 3, right? We bring in the needle at point number 1 from the back, slightly in front of where the sewing will begin. So if the sewing begins at point 2, we bring it at point 1. The needle comes, and during sewing, the needle goes back at point 2. Then it comes at point 1 again, right? You take it out. Then you drop it at point 2, at point 1 again, right? And you take it in and it comes out at point 3, right? And when it comes at point 3, for you to sew, make another step, you bring it back at point 1 and you continue like that. So let us do this practically. Assume this is the garment that you want to make, that we want to stitch, right? We have the garment and we said this type of stitch, which is known as the back stitch, is worked on the wrong side. So what do? Bring the needle and the thread from the back of the garment. At that point, it comes out at point 1. Right? That is point 1. For me to move forward sewing, I bring my needle at point 2, backwards, right? I make a prick and it comes back at point 3. That is point 3, right? This is point 1 where we started. We are at point 2, then this is point 3. Then I pull it, I pull it, I pull it, right? I pull it. Good. For me to move forward, I move back to the last point where it was, put it in, right? Bring it out at the same point, right? And that is how we work it, right? For me to move on, I move to this point, then forward at the next point, the same interval, right? And we move, we bring it out. As we bring it out, for me to move again, I go back. That's why it is called the back stitch. And up to the other point again. Okay? Point 3 again. So, we move front and back. We move front and back. We move front and back again. Right? That is back. Okay? That is back. We move in front again. Yeah. So, we're doing something at the back and we move. Right? So, I want you to practice this at home. At the end of it all, we have made some stitch. We have made some stitch, both on the right side and on the wrong side, right? But what you need to know is that the back stitch is worked backwards. It is worked backwards, and we move frontwards. It is worked backwards, and we move frontwards. Now, I want you to do this at home. take your needle, right, and a thread, and try to make it the way we have done it. Try to make it the way we have done it. Hopefully, you are going to be successful, right? We have learned about stitches. We have taken a case study of the back stitch. We have demonstrated how the back stitch is done, right? And we have seen how it works. So I hope you're going to do this. Thank you very much. And this marks the end of our lesson.